For more of me, head on over to Twitch at twitch.tv/Big Geekdom 101, where I provide exclusive streams that you will not see here on YouTube and bonus content for y'all to check out, including old video games, anime, and a heck of a lot more. Twitch.tv/Big Geekdom 101. I'll see you there. Gas has been unleashed and unsealed, and now Goku, Vegeta, and Granolah might be in some deep trouble if they can't work together. Welcome to my Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 81 preview video. We're going to be discussing Chapter 81, the fallout from Chapter 80, and we're going to be talking about what could happen next. As always, I'm joined by Mr. Senpai over here. What's going on, brother?
I'm excited for this because we're almost done.
We're close. They said it was
close.
This year. We don't know exactly when, but they said it was this year. The arc's going to come to a close. We'll be talking a little bit about that. Plus, we're going to talk about what they're going to do against Gas, Bardock, and so much more on this video. Hit the like button now. I know that the video just started, but do me that favor and hit it now. And if you are new, subscribe. We talk about Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball overall, manga, anime, and movies. But today, it's going to be Manga Chapter 81. So, Mr. Senpai, Elec returned to the battlefield. He unsealed Gas, and he tapped into Gas's true power. Now, we also found out the other heaters might have, we'll talk about that in a minute, but where was Elec? Because we saw in the chapter that the skies did not go dark. And because the skies did not go dark, that means the dragon was probably not summoned. So he did not make any more wishes yet. Where did he go?
If I was to say that he is getting ready to fight, that kind of goes against his character, right? He's a man of information. He's kind of like the mafia kingpin of sorts. So the only other scenario that I can see happening is, again, he has to have a plan B. What if he is in communications with Frieza for something bigger? Now, we know that he wants to take Frieza out, but at the same time, in the past, 40 years ago, he used Frieza as a way to get what he wants with Planet Cereal. Right, by lying to him, getting him to send over his forces to Planet Cereal. He is the only one in the group that we know of that has direct communication with Frieza. So what if he also, being the man of information that he is, knows about the beef that Frieza has with Goku and Vegeta, and has a communication with Frieza telling him, hey, these guys that you hate, they're weak right now. Right? Come here and finish them off. Now, this would only happen as a plan B if for some reason Gas gets defeated. Elec is not stupid enough to put all his cards in one deck. Right? He's gonna have multiple decks, a plan B, which would be Frieza, and that is the only way that we can see him coming back, I believe.
Right, and right now, as things stand, there's no more Senzu. They still have Monito's healing ability, but he's not as good of a healer as like Dende and other people are. Yeah, he's pretty worthless.
What is he gonna? He's gonna heal like a little scratch. Like, this guy's useless.
I know.
Hey, you remember what Bardock think? I was passed out. I was sleeping. Come on, bro. That is the biggest cop out that I. Yeah. Anyways,
I didn't like that either. But hey, what about 7-3? People have been talking about 7-3. Did Elec finally go and get 7-3? People have been waiting almost a year for 7-3, bro. So over a year, actually. No, about a year for 7-3 to come back. But now I'm actually wondering if we're going to even see him again.
Honestly, I was one of the first people, at least on YouTube, to kind of say that 7-3 is going to be a major part of this saga.
Right.
But it turns out I was probably wrong, because we're towards the end. We're past the climax at this point, and we still haven't seen OG 7-3. So does it really make sense for him to show up at the very end?
I'm not quite sure. It can, but I don't know if it will. Yeah, I don't know.
It just seems like sloppy writing to me to just have him at the very end of the saga. You know,
well,
I still think it can make sense, but
yeah.
But why? Like, is he needed at this point? Is essentially
that
what
could
I'm
be
saying.
Plan B or Plan C. Elec.
Plan C and Plan.
Well, now speaking of characters that may or may not appear again, are we gonna see Frieza or Broly in this arc? Because I feel like every chapter that goes by, the likelihood of seeing Frieza is going down. Now Broly, I don't think we're gonna see him anymore. I really don't. I don't think he's gonna be in this arc. Frieza, if you're right about Elec summoning him, we could see him soon. But I'm starting to think that Frieza, it might make a cameo appearance, but he's not going to be a part of this story. I just don't. I mean, it's possible, but I just don't see it happening until maybe the very, very end. What do you think about Frieza? Besides what, the Elec thing,
I mean, you do make a good point, right? If he does show up, then that means that the arc is going to continue because he's going to fight. Unless he shows up and says, "Oh hell no," and then leaves. You know what I'm saying?
right?
Like, no,
Right.
I'm
That
not
would be
dealing with
funny.
this.
That would be funny. Yeah. And by the way,
So,
make sure you leave a comment and let us know if you think Frieza's coming back or not. Let me know down below if you think Frieza will be in this arc now or not. What were you saying?
but is he a pivotal aspect to the story? I don't think so. I still would like to see him show up at the very end in one way or another. If the most realistic way for him to show up at this point, right, besides the theory that I gave you earlier, which is still unlikely, but it's a cool theory, is at the end of the saga, there's kind of like like a one page, one panel showing Frieza and what he's been up to since the movie. Because at the end of the movie, we got a little teaser that he has some plans with Broly. What if they give us that little hint, that little tease at the very end of the saga? Bam, it's over. On to the next saga, and they don't even start with Frieza in the next saga, but we already know in the back of our minds that he is gonna play a part into the next story. That gets the fandom excited. I think that would be a great transition.
Right, right. I mean, for all we know, and I made this joke on the stream, Frieza could end up having 7-3. Frieza could steal 7-3 from Elec and then hold on to him, and then we have another arc where 7-3 is still alive after two other arcs. So that they
Right.
could do
Yeah.
something like that. Now, what is Bardock's secret? We saw Bardock in a flashback in chapter 80 briefly, but like you said, Monaito fell asleep. What do you think Bardock's secret was to beating Gas? Because Gas was unleashed against Bardock, and Bardock still defeated him. What do you think it
All right.
is? And then I'll tell you what I think it is.
Here's what we first need to establish. So I'll pull it up on my phone right here. I don't know if the people can see it, but there's a
Probably
flashback where they
not.
show Bardock. Yeah, probably not. Anyways, there's a flashback
That's
where they show
better.
Bardock,
Yeah.
and he's using a special attack that it's called the Riot Javelin.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what they
not.
call it in the
That's kind of
video
like
games. It's the move that
in
he
the
used
video game.
against. He used that move against Frieza before he died, and it didn't work. Same thing with in Broly. He briefly used it. Yeah.
So as he's doing this attack, we then transition over to Gas, where he's scared, he's freaked out, he's already in his rage form or transform stage. But we also notice is that there's something different about his face. His face looks a little bit younger. It doesn't have like those muscular features, the defined jawline like he does in the present. That leads me to believe that he fought against Bardock in this transformed state, and Bardock defeated him with that javelin riot, which then leads me to believe that something about that technique is the key to defeating Gas.
I think.
Go,
Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, Goku is the closest one connected to his father in terms of maybe sort of somewhat personality. So maybe that is the key. Him trying to figure out what did my father do and what can I replicate? Something about my father. He doesn't know anything about his father, but if I was my father, what would he have done? Right? And then that leads to him unlocking some new technique or some bullshit that we're gonna see. But
Right. That makes sense for him to think about what Bardock did. But for me, I think it's going to be some kind of like a weak spot. There's got to be a spot somewhere on Gas's body. I don't know what it is that Bardock maybe hit on accident and beat him. There's got to be something because yeah, it could be that, bro. It could be the
could be the
walrus,
horns.
the horns. It could be
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah, it could. It could have been he found it on accident. I don't think Bardock knew anything about the heaters. I mean, he knew something, but I don't think he knew that much about the heaters for him to like have actually, have known that that's a weak spot. So I think that's what it's going to be, something like that. And it could be interesting to think about if the other heaters,
Well,
what's going to happen if the other heaters get their
what you
powers unsealed?
well, you just brought up a good point. You said, right? He knew them when we had those flashbacks. He already knew who they were.
Yeah,
But all the Saiyans are dead.
right,
So perhaps the Heater Gang thought that the secret was taken to the grave, not knowing
right.
40 years later there's still some Saiyans around.
Well, it was taken to
So
the grave, but it might be rediscovered by Goku because he tends to do stuff like that. So, what do you think about the
yeah.
other heaters getting their power unsealed? Because they all are wearing though that necklace headband thing. So, do they all have secret gas-like powers?
Yes, but it wouldn't make any difference because even Gas, before he received the wish, even if he had gone fully unleashed, it still wouldn't make a dent against Granolah in his full
Right.
power. It took the entire wish in order to get him to that level of becoming the strongest. So even if these other two characters go to their full power, that's not gonna make it dent. It's not gonna make any difference.
Yeah, I don't think it'll make a difference either. It's just interesting to think about like if that's like their secret.
It's like going from Super Saiyan 2 to like Ultra Instinct just by unlocking your power. You know, that wouldn't make any sense.
Right. But I mean, they're not. I think Gas is the only one because he's got the wish. I think that's what makes him stand out. You know, he's obviously already the strongest physically, but I think the wish put him over the top. So that leads us to. Go ahead, man.
Here's one thing about that form that he has. Is there a time limit to this? Right? To this power. Yeah, he unleashes full power and maybe he has some self-control, but is that going to expire after a certain amount of time or
That could
after
also
losing enough
that could be what
stamina?
happened with Bardock. Maybe he withstood him long enough to make his stamina, or yeah, like you said, make him get tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. I think that answer will come in chapter 81. I think that chapter 81 will absolutely give us that answer. So let's talk about this upcoming fight. We got Vegeta, Goku, and Granolah, and we have Gas now with his controlled power up, the strongest in the universe. I feel like at this point, Goku, Vegeta, and Gas must team up against Gas. I'm sorry. Goku, Vegeta, and Granolah must team up against Gas. This has to happen at this point. They can't screw around with this guy, man. I think the time has come now to come together and fight this guy. And don't worry about anybody else. I think that needs to happen. No more Senzu. Granola's all beat up now. Vegeta even got hurt this chapter. They're going to have to get this guy, man.
Yeah, if they do team up, they absolutely have to play with each other's strengths and combine them against Gas. So
Right.
think about it this way, right? You have Granolah, who is basically like a sniper.
Right.
So he's good at long
Long
distance,
range attacks. Yes.
long range attack. As he's doing that, you also have Goku, who can play as the bait. He has Ultra Instinct. He can dodge. You also have Vegeta, who has Ultra Ego, destruction power. They're gonna have to combine their strengths and do some sort of team up in that sense. If they're just fighting all close combat, they're gonna fail. They're going to absolutely lose. But if they can hone to their strengths and improvise, and being that they fought each other, they know what their strengths are and their
Right.
weaknesses at this point to some degree. That's probably what's gonna happen, which would be a really cool fight. Imagine them utilizing their strong aspects of themselves
I think
against Gas.
what they could do is have Gas like fire one of those like custom made weapons that he has, and then have Vegeta use Hakai to destroy it, protecting
Right.
somebody. Yeah. And then have
Yeah.
Gas from far away firing the sniper shots at him, and then have Goku close range using UI to dodge his punches. That's what I would like. I would love to see that. That would, you know what, bro? If they do that just right with the right art, that could be the best chapter of the whole arc, bro. If they do it right.
And then come the anime. Imagine that being animated. Ooh, that would be so sick.
They're gonna have to get like the good team on that one, bro. Because I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're pretty smart about getting like good animators in the fight episode. So yeah, no, I agree with you. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome, bro. Like Vegeta is more of a defensive fighter. Goku's also defensive, dodging against Gas. I mean, dodging and juking and jiving around his moves, and then Granolah could be the long range guy and take him out like that. There you go. But it's gonna
Yeah.
take time. I don't think they're gonna beat him in just one chapter, but I think they might defeat him by the end of the chapter. But I don't think it's gonna be short. I think it'll take up most of the chapter. I think we're gonna see a
Oh,
lot of
absolutely.
action. We're gonna see a lot of action. I think from this chapter coming up, more than even in 80. I think.
I think so too. But it's not gonna end in this chapter. It's gonna continue to the next one. For
Of
sure.
course, yeah, for sure. I mean, the earliest that the arc could end is April, probably. The
Yeah, 'cause
latest,
the movie.
right? Because the movie in Japan, the latest the arc could end is anytime but till December. They said this year, so. But I don't think so. I think it'll either be April or it'll be sometime in the summer. I think that makes the most
Yeah.
sense.
By the
Yeah.
summer. I mean, you kind of want to start new by September or by the fall.
Yeah, maybe they'll announce a new arc on Goku Day, May 9th. I mean, who knows? But well, we're gonna wrap it up. Any final thoughts, bro?
Uh, it's good to be back on YouTube. Oh,
Yes.
at least on your channel.
No,
I'll be back. The important thing is that I have the choice to come back whenever I want. So I will
that's
be
right.
coming back at some point in the near future when I'm ready. But in the
It is.
meantime,
It is good. It
we're
is good
on
to be. It's
101.
no. It's great to be on YouTube, brother. The best video, or the biggest video platform website ever. Check out Mr. Senpai. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. Have a nice day.